Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, January 5th, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I am receptive to the divine impetus. And the energy mantra I got was more about like being impetuous, but listening to the universe, listening to the universe's bump or push that comes with our first eclipse of the year, the first eclipse of our first of 3 eclipse seasons. This is also the first of 3 eclipses in Capricorn this year. And what's important to note about an eclipse is that the eclipse it's not like a wham bam moment. The eclipse is, it's definitely about integrating lessons that come up during the eclipse. It's good to look at eclipse from the vision point, the perspective of being a package deal, because eclipses come in packages of 2s, or sometimes, like we saw last year, 3s even. And so we get downloads through these eclipses. And one of the things we need to notice is that with all of this Capricorn energy going on, all of these Capricorn eclipses coming for us, this the status of things, the structure of things is in change. So it's like, okay, so what part of the structure is being impacted by this eclipse with Capricorn energy? This eclipse to me is so clearly pointing the way to the divine impetuous, where we need to be receptive, where we need to show up and do the work. The energy mantra, the Sabian symbol for this first eclipse at 15 degrees is in a hospital. The children's ward is filled with toys. And it's so interesting because I do feel like this plus our last Leo eclipse for like 19 years, I think it is, long while. These 2 eclipses together really point at our foundation, at the inner child, and that we cannot build a sturdy structure without the inner child foundation being cared for. So in that Sabian symbol, we have toys being brought to the children's ward in the hospital. To me, saying we have some reconditioning to do, some balancing out reconditioning to do with our inner child. Now, another thing that occurred to me as I was sitting here feeling through the eclipse energy, and what I was just thinking about, this is a partial solar eclipse, which means part of the sun is going to be blocked out. Not a huge portion, but part of the sun is going to be blocked out. This is really interesting because it's like sometimes when the light is so bright, you can't see clearly. So we put on sunglasses, or we put on our visor, or we have an eclipse. And that's what the feeling I got from this eclipse. We haven't seen everything with the proper vision in regards to our inner child. So there's going to be stuff coming up through this eclipse, through the next eclipse, about our inner child that we need to work through, bring toys to some extent, bring healing to, in order to solidify that part of our foundation. I really truly believe that our inner child, they especially the youngest inner children within us, they come, directly from that source energy. So they're so connected to that soul work, that soul light that we're meant to bring forward and share and experience ourselves. And so it makes sense that we can't fully embrace who we are or who we're meant to grow, bloom, expand into without embracing that inner child energy. So Capricorn, has that reputation of like, I am here and I am a leader and I'm going to show up and I am the authority and all that. But you need to go back and listen to the authority that your inner child has as part of bringing balance into yourself, and as part of the integration and work that this eclipse is bringing, because it's taking us directly to an eclipse at 0 degrees in Leo in 2 weeks, and that eclipse corridor, I want to remind you that we're going to be in following this eclipse. That's usually where we get hit with a lot of the intensity. Like I said, this eclipse kind of snuck up the last couple days. It's like, oh, there's eclipse coming. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. This is the lesson. Are you utilizing the power, the wisdom of your inner child? Is this something that you are diligently working with and bringing healing for and to? And let me just say something once and for all. Even if you had what looked like a wonderful childhood, there's still places where the inner child needs attention. I guarantee it, because everyone has parents that, no matter as good as they were, had places where they fell short. And that's not anything on them. It's about you and your lessons. So it's like, well, what was your lesson there? And where do you need to show up now for yourself as the inner adult? Let me remind you that we have the North Node in Cancer that is reminding us that the path through all this is going to be the path of nurturing ourselves. That's how we're going to make it through. That's how we best succeed in and through this energy. So this is very powerful. Be very aware and be receptive to the lessons. Be receptive to your inner child as he or she comes forward to you, saying what's going on. Everybody has Capricorn at some place in their chart. So be willing to show up and listen to that part of Capricorn, in your chart, what you need. I have the laziness card in reverse and the experiencing card. Whatever is coming up is part of your lessons that need to be experienced. Don't be lazy, be diligent. Be receptive to the divine impetus. I want to keep saying impetuous, but that's not the right word. It doesn't fit grammatically. But be open to that, because we have work. We got work to do to heal the world, but we have to start here, and we really have to solidify this foundation. So, besides this eclipse energy that we have going on today, we have some other things that I really feel like are feeding into this so beautifully. Venus has a lot going on today, as Venus connects to both Chiron in Pisces, and Uranus in Aries. So, it's a trine with Chiron and Pisces. Healing on the worth level, healing deep shadows that may be hanging out within. Venus is finishing up in Scorpio energy. This could be karmic, it could be ancestral, and that's one of the things, again, that you might need to know for your inner child. I know I experienced this as a child, that I felt all of my family's things. My first conscious knowledge of being an empath, even though I didn't know what an empath was or even what that word was when I was a little girl at my grandmother's funeral. I didn't know her, and I saw my dad standing there being stoic and not crying, and I immediately started crying for him. But there's still some work for me to move through with my inner child in that. The fact that she did take on that pain, and she felt like that was her job, which was it not? I don't know, it doesn't matter. But any of that pain that she's still carrying, from the family, or maybe even for me, the lack of emotion that my family would share that I would then feel, there's healing to be done there. There's healing to be done, even in these minor little things. Chiron is tuning us into any of this that needs to come on, and especially that worth piece. A lot of empaths, light workers, rainbow sheep of the family, there's worth stuff that's there. It's like, well, my worth is not in this high-powered job that I do, but it's in my feeling power or whatever it is. So be willing to look at that and hold your own. The other part, is that Uranus energy, and Uranus can definitely bring up the triggers. Venus in conjunct Uranus is so interesting because, again, Venus in that Scorpio energy is trying to find its light through the darkness. It's trying to find its power through all of these processes. Uranus in Uranus and Aries, about to go direct tomorrow, absorbing the energy of this eclipse before going direct, has something to do in this. There's always a reason for the cosmic dance and the way these things happen. The fact that Uranus goes direct tomorrow means there's an important lesson in this retrograde, in looking within in regards to this. And I do think, again, it's about looking deeper within yourself to find that soul spark, to know the soul spark, to know the worth of the soul spark, and to uncover it from any of the darkness that has come up for it. So powerful energy that's all working together. Now again, I want to remind you, people may be cranky. Eclipses bring stuff up. They show the shadows. They show the darkness. This is meant to happen. It's part of the process. Be diligent, vigilant in your work. Be tuning into your inner child. Keep looking where you may have faults in your personal foundation. And I don't mean faults as in shadows, but like faults as in, oh, it's not really even there. Where do I need to do something to find that balance? This eclipse is at 15 degrees. 1 energy resonates with heart. 5 energy resonates with mind. And then together it's 6, which we want to find that balance, that yin and yang, maturity balance. So there's a lot of work to be done in this. Last but not least, I want to mention a few things that happen besides these other things I already talked about. The moon on its way to the eclipse point, to the new moon energy, which is about setting intentions as well. I want to lay it out there. This is very powerful intention-setting energy. However, do let your intention be about your healing and finding your foundation and rebuilding your structure more so than I want a Ferrari. Status symbol kind of energy. Let it be about your personal responsibility, because this energy is so powerful and so healing in regards to that. So, like I said, leading up to this 15-degree eclipse and new moon energy, we have the moon connecting to Saturn. That 11-degree energy, master level energy, is still working us through the process. And again, that's how you step up into your mastery, is taking the power of the responsibility. So we have that going on. You may feel the weight of it, but it doesn't have to be heavy because it's seated in you. It's actually light. And you may need a little shade of darkness to see that it is actually light. The other connection is the moon connecting to Neptune. And what that says to me is, don't forget, you have helpers. You have helpers, you have guides, you have your higher self that's all helping you move through this. If you are getting confused or whatever in this eclipse, reach out for support in and through this, because you are not alone in going through this eclipse energy. So that is it for today. Remember, you have the power. The better it gets, the better it gets. There is more than enough love in the world for you. Namaste.